We are in downtown St. Louis in a steamy night for baseball. It's Game 2 between the Seattle Mariners and the St. Louis Cardinals. Redbirds looking to go to 7 games above the 500 mark. And welcome inside to the broadcast booth along with Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and Al, the Cardinals will turn to Jeff Suppan tonight. And of course, we've seen Sup here in St. Louis. He had great success before. Cardinals hoping that can duplicate itself here tonight.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what he has. As you see his record with St. Louis, he was very, very good, much better than his other stops, but it's been about a week since he's last pitched and 7 weeks since he last started.
So his record in St. Louis, 44-26. And a lot of people point to Dave Duncan as being a key for that. What do you think Duncan has seen with Sup so far?
Well, they've already really detected a little flaw in his delivery, and hopefully that will translate into just a lot better luck. Get the ball down in the zone and have a little more life on his pitches.
Well, we're looking forward to this. It's the return of Jeff Suppan tonight. Sup going over the signs with Jose Oquendo, and it's Sup du jour. Game 2, Sup and the Mariners coming up. Tonight, the Mariners and Cardinals. It's game number 2 right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Last time we saw the Mariners here in St. Louis, it was 2004 at the Old Busch Stadium. Randy Wynn was wearing that Seattle uniform. They had some pretty big names on that team. How about John Olerud, the former Cardinal Scott Spezio, Joel Pinheiro, also a former Cardinal. And for the Redbirds making the start in the afternoon that we're going to show you the highlights from, it was Jeff Suppan. Well, here he goes again tonight as we flash back to that game in 04.
Pitched very well in that game. He outpitched Pinheiro. And he also, as you'll see, Ichiro, he's only 2 for 11 against Jeff Suppan. That's quite an accomplishment. But Suppan gets the win with 7 innings of quality baseball that afternoon. Great throw to help out right there by Jim Edmonds. Great tag by Matheny. And then Izzy closes it out with a big save.
Cardinals would win that game 2-1. That was the 4th of July back in 2004. Albert Pujols was in the lineup that day. He is again tonight. A look at the best of the interleague offensive stars when we come back. Tonight from Busch Stadium, Game 2 between the Mariners and Cardinals. You may be wondering who's in the top 3 all-time batting average in interleague play. Well, 2 of the 3 are on display tonight.
Well, Albert Pujols, with his 3 hits last night, on base 5 times, improved his batting average in interleague play to a tops .352, the highest all-time in Major League Baseball. But Larry Walker, the former Cardinal, he was right there. He's second all-time with a .346. Some of you might remember this home run in interleague play. And then third on our list is tonight's right fielder for Seattle, Ichiro, as he's .342. He had a big night last night, a home run and a double as he continues to assault the baseball. By the way, Matt Holliday is .320, 14th all-time.
It's a big night for Ryan Ludwig in Game 1. Ricky had a chance to visit with him when we come back. Ludwig batting in the cleanup spot. Big night for him last night, Al.
3-run home run, the game winner his first time up. Later on, he also hit a sacrifice fly for 4 RBIs on the night. He leads the National League with a .460 batting average with runners in scoring position. Also hits .345 at home, but he's much more than just an offensive player.
Well, we saw his defense come into play. With this throw to the plate, he has been outstanding in his accuracy and the strong arm from right field or even center field. He was our star of the game. Afterwards, he caught up with Ricky.
Plenty of offensive stars here tonight, game 1 of this interleague series. But Ryan Ludwig, you're our star of the game. Congratulations. Nice day with the bat.
Once again, it feels like every time I get this honor, it's more of a team effort. Wayno gave us 2 runs early, then shut him down the rest of the night. And, some nice timely hitting. 9 runs. Good night for the offense.
And good that you guys were able to come back with some offense after Wayno had a couple of runs in the first inning. You guys came back and supported him right away.
Yeah, it was nice. It was real nice, He's good. I mean, that's all there is to it. We knew if we get some runs on the board, he was going to get back in the mode of Wayno mode, and that's exactly what he did.
What did you think when you came to the ballpark and saw the lineup?
I mean, not much, I feel like we got a lot of good hitters on this team. No matter where you put them, I think they're going to come out and try to give their best effort, and tonight it worked out.
One last thought. You made a nice throw to home towards the end. I know that's something you've really worked on. You saved a run there. Your defense in particular is something you're taking pride in.
Oh, no doubt about it. Whatever runs I can save for that staff, I'm going to try to save.
Ryan Ludwig back in the lineup tonight, and it's a return of Soup on the mound when we come back. Presented by Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. By Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. By Chevy's Expert Auto Service. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the Luce's Slots.
Milton Bradley signing autographs there for the youngsters. Good to see.
Yeah, many times you hear about the negative with Milton, but that is good to see. Putting some smiles on the faces of the fans here at Busch Stadium. Big crowd expected here tonight. And an old friend is on the mound, and that familiar number 37, Jeff Suppan, making the start for the Cardinals. And really, everybody an anxious bystander tonight. Not really sure what to expect from Soup.
Well, Soup feels that he can go 5 innings. I think Dave Duncan would be very pleased if that's the case. It's been 4 years since Jeff has worn that uniform and throwing some hard times with Milwaukee. About 10 days since his last toed the rubber, and that was right here at Busch Stadium when Milwaukee Brewers were in town, and it's about 7 weeks since he last started. Third week in April, he got his second start. He had 2 early in the season. You see the high ERA. Been in the bullpen for about 13 outings.
He's our Marshall Wireless Sprint starter, backhanded by Pujols. That'll help. And Ichiro is retired. Remember, last night, here in Game 1, he homered off of Adam Wainwright. A look at the Mariners lineup. Ichiro, then Sean Figgins, and Franklin Gutierrez, Jose Lopez, Milton Bradley, who's hitting .224, Josh Wilson, their shortstop, Casey Kochman, Rob Johnson, and then Ryan Roland Smith, their starter. So Soup gets Ichiro. And the struggles for Ichiro against Suppan continue.
Yeah, he's 2 for 12 now against Jeff Suppan. Hit that ball hard, but recorded an early out.
And here's a fly ball hit down the left field line. Over to get it, Matt Holliday, 2 away. Let's meet the Cardinals defense tonight. Good start for Soup, Holliday, Rasmus, and Ludwig. And then we'll see on the infield Freeze, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols. And the battery tonight, Jeff Suppan and Yadier Molina. Those two were together in that great run of '06 in which Jeff Suppan was the National League Championship Series MVP.
3 pitches, 2 outs. 4 pitches now, 2 outs. Throwing strikes.
Here's Gutierrez. Right down the middle, but taken a little bit low. You mentioned last night you like how he plays.
Yeah, I just seem, I don't know much about him, but seemed like he covers a lot of ground in the outfield, plays with a little bit of confidence. He's hitting third for Seattle.
Now, what's the flaw that you think Dave Duncan and Marty Mason, along with some of the other starters, maybe have detected with Jeff Suppan for this start tonight?
Well, they want him to stand a little more erect. And watching him a little bit yesterday in the outfield, and particularly I noticed with Chris Carpenter working with him, is when he kind of came to the set position, he really bent at the waist, and that got his timing messed up, and really his arms started dragging, and then so you're getting the ball up. By eliminating that and staying tall, he's finishes pitches, and he's got a little more life on his pitches. He'll have better command of that fastball, be able to finish it off, and more than likely keep the ball down on a more consistent basis. 2
balls, 2 strikes on the third place hitter. Ichiro started with a ground out to Pujols. Figgins flied out to left. And here's the 2-2 to Gutierrez from Jeff Suppan. Line drive into right and a base hit. Over to get it, Ryan Ludwig. 2-out hit. Good piece of hitting on a pitch that was on the outside corner. Look at the Fox tracks will tell you it was not a strike. This is presented by Chrysler.
Just a little bit beyond the strike zone, but out there, kind of a defensive swing and got rewarded for it. Lopez a year ago had 25 home runs, just shy of 100 RBIs. Well below that pace.
Molina sets up on the inside corner. And an inside-out swing, really a defensive swing and a base hit. With Pujols holding the runner at first, it winds up in right field. And with 2 outs, back-to-back hits, and it's first and third. It brings in Milton Bradley.
See the ball up a little bit, and you're absolutely right with that inside-out stroke. Really exaggerated as ball inside, but yet uses his hands to hit it to the opposite field. Runners at the corners, but Soup has had great success against Milton Bradley, 2 for 13. He's hoping that will continue.
Milton last night was 1 for 4, 2 outs, 2 on. Jeff Suppan was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now resides in Los Angeles, and he and his wife Dana have a brand new baby girl, Finley. He said it's changed his life. 2 balls, no strikes.
You're sending to see Jeff Suppan. It just looks like we remember him. What we were talking about is from the windup, you know, kind of bending over at the waist a little bit when he brought his leg up.
2-0 pitch. Misses. On deck, it's Wilson. The Cardinals felt that Ottavino and P.J. Walters were not the answer, at least at this point. There's the numbers for Bradley against Soup. So the Cardinals, after the release of Jeff Suppan, pick him up. Not much of a cost. And see if they can't correct some of these flaws and get some starts from Soup down the stretch.
Pitch there in on the hands of Bradley.
And Al, there's been talk of a 4-man rotation if need be.
Well, you would be 4-man with Suppan. You know, with the 2 injured, Penny, who will be out at least this month, maybe until the All-Star break. And then you got Loesch, who'll be even longer than that. So you got the Cardinals' big 3, where everyone's very comfortable. The co-aces, Wainwright and Carpenter. Then Jaime Garcia, who's been an outstanding. And then Suppan. Got enough off days to where you could go with a 4-man rotation.
Here's a 3-1 to Milton Bradley. Took some off it, 3-2. By the way, right now at FoxSportsMidwest.com, BJ Raines has a story up on Kyle Loesch. As you see the changeup here from Suppan. And he plans to play catch on Monday, does Loesch. That'll be 23 days after surgery back on May 28th. And he hopes to come back in late July, according to the story. Read that at FoxSportsMidwest.com. And a walk to Bradley. So after getting the first 2 with a ground out and a fly out, single by Gutierrez, single by Lopez, a walk to Bradley, and now it's Wilson with the bases loaded.
But Jeff never had the stuff to where he could throw in the middle of the strike zone. And now he really has to work those corners, but you still can be aggressive. Aggressive in the strike zone, you know, but on the corners. And it really is imperative for him to change speeds.
Gutierrez, Lopez, Bradley on the bases. And 2 outs here in the top of the first. Wilson is hitting .291 with 1 home run and 13 RBIs. And those are his numbers with the bases loaded. Still looking for that first grand slam.
1 for 2 off for Suppan.
Strike 1. Well, Soup was a guy that never really went all that deep into games even beforehand with the Cardinals, but you could pretty much count on 6-7 innings and your team was in the game.
That's it. I mean, that was the greatest attribute, that he took you into the second part of the game. And, you know, he may give up runs early, but he usually only gave up 3. And his team was always in position where they could either come from behind or they could wait you out.
And an 0-1 pitch from Suppan. Throw behind and safe, as Pujols will make the case that he blocked Bradley getting back in the bag with his foot. And if you're wondering about Albert Pujols, he is fine. He iced up the back of his head last night. He did have a lump there.
I think he did get under the tag. When I first saw it, I thought it was much closer than this, but the hand gets there ahead of the tag.
Very tough from that angle with his hand a little bit below the base. But awfully close, and too close for comfort if you're Bradley and the Mariners with the bases loaded.
Got no place to go, so
exactly.
Can't take that big of a secondary lead, and especially when you know Molina's picked off 33 runners since '05. Most in baseball.
Here comes a 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Would have picked me up. That would have been if Molina could have gotten Bradley sleeping down there at first.
And many times when you're in this situation, just a defensive play or just some kind of play, it's going to pick up a guy like Soup. Just get out of this inning, hopefully with no damage, settle in and just get back out there and you'll be okay.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Hit sharply to short. Brendan Ryan to Schumacher at second base, and Suppan gets out of a first inning jam. No score after a half inning. Truck did tell us that maybe he could come up with a line of they are improving their bench. As cheesy as it might be, but yet, literally, Al, it works. They are working on their bench with Dave McKay and Tony La Russa just moments ago.
Well, I wouldn't think that that's that heavy of a coaching staff.
No.
That would break that bench. But you know how Tony's always doing housekeeping down there. It's always a little loose. Tighten it up.
And here's Skip Schumacher in the leadoff spot for the Cardinals after a bases-loaded jam in the first, and Suppan, good to see that he got out of it.
Yes, it is, and then he'll gain confidence just from that.
There's a line shot into left center field for a base hit. Skip will take the wide turn. Bradley gets it back into the infield quickly, and it's a leadoff hit. A look at Tony's lineup tonight. Schumacher, Holiday, and Pujols, then Ryan Ludwig, who was terrific last night, along with Albert, then David Freese, Colby Rasmus, Yadier Molina, Jeff Suppan, and Brendan Ryan. Ryan Roland Smith, he is the second of the three lefty starters that the Cardinals will face in this series.
You can see his numbers are not that good. 0-5, high ERA. Another, he is from Australia. One of 5 native Australians to appear in the big leagues this season. There are 25 Australian-born players that have played in history, but he has something that's a little bit different than any player that's ever played in the major leagues. Been over 17,000 players, and he is the first to have a hyphenated name.
Is that right?
Yeah.
First ever.
First ever.
Ryan
and only.
Roland Smith.
And good news for Cardinal fans, as getting a scouting report on Roland Smith. He's almost so similar to last night's starter. So this is one of those bugaboos where you really don't like to have pitchers that are so similar go back-to-back nights. The Cardinals had a good night last night. A little more experience from this starter, but still much the same type of stuff. Maybe a little bigger breaking ball, but predominantly pitches away to the hitters.
Holiday was 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored last night. 3-1 pitch. Hit out of play. What's going through his mind, Matt Holiday, and whether or not this is something that he welcomes hitting in the 2 spot. Now publicly he'll say, of course, I don't mind where I'm at in the lineup, but normally, certainly here in St. Louis, he's been hitting behind Albert Pujols.
And I'm sure he's putting the most positive spin on it.
We're doing that a lot more too. Walking. This is when you ask for trouble. 2 on in front of Albert, and our keys to the game: run differential in the first and second innings, presented by Toyota. Mariners minus 25. The Cardinals a plus 14.
It's a big difference. The Cardinals just have a tremendous record when they break out on top. Most clubs do when they jump out to that lead, but not quite to the success of the Cardinals. When they score first, they're 24-5. The opponent scores first, they're 11-24.
Pujols looks at a strike.
But just kind of notice how many pitches are going to be away to these hitters. And it fits right into the philosophy of McGuire of trying to get a pitch that you can drive up the middle or to the opposite field.
Pujols has reached base in 7 consecutive plate appearances. Dating back to the 2 on Sunday against Arizona, on base all 5 times last night. .375 batting mark, with runners in scoring position this year.
And Ichiro had the battle going for the highest average in their career. Ichiro, just by fractions of a point, is ahead of Albert. But a little different last night, as Albert went 3 for 3, all singles, and then Ichiro has all extra base hits, a home run and a double. They'd be the other way around.
And Pujols was saying that the back of his head was okay. It was his ear that was hurt. Did have some swelling on that play at the plate when the ball hit him in the back of the head on the helmet. Stayed in the game, got ice afterwards, and felt okay this morning. 0-2 pitch. Little chopper hit to third. They'll step on the bag, throw to first in a double play. That's Jose Lopez over at third base. Delivered into Kochman. And quickly there's 2 outs. The defense for Seattle: Bradley, Gutierrez, and Ichiro Suzuki in right. Lopez, Wilson, Biggins, and Kochman along the infield. And the battery tonight: Ryan, Roland Smith, and Rob Johnson. The red-hot Ryan Ludwig in the lineup. Sun are open just a few moments ago. Not just what he's doing with the bat, but his defense is gaining notoriety throughout the league. And here he goes again, out to deep left. Bradley, though, with room to make the catch on the track. Cardinals strand a runner. There's no score after 1. Hitter of this group, presented by U.S. Cellular: Ricky Henderson, the Hall of Famer, Ichiro, Tim Raines, or Pete Rose. Text LEAD A, B, C, or D to 432-432. I would text A. Ricky Henderson would be my choice.
I do Henderson also.
And then if you ask Tony, you add Ricky Henderson, he would probably say the same thing.
Ichiro has 31 leadoff home runs, but I think Ricky's not only the all-time stolen base leader, but he's also the all-time home run leader in leadoff home runs.
Here is Casey Kochman, the 7th place hitter, followed by Johnson, their catcher, and then Roland Smith. There's no doubt the American League teams are at a disadvantage coming to a National League park where their pitchers have not taken any BP throughout the year, and then all of a sudden they're thrust in the role of not just hitting, but maybe at times trying to sacrifice.
It's a huge difference and advantage for the National League. It hasn't translated for several years in the standings, but everybody can find a DH out of your roster. But when you have to have your pitchers hit and they're not accustomed to it, it's a little different.
Kochman rolls over on one. We saw him with the Atlanta Braves in the National League, 2-2. Mariners, we've talked about their struggles in keeping guys healthy and off to a very slow start. Josh Bard is hurt. Doug Fister, Mark Lowe, Adam Moore, Mike Sweeney, the former Royal, Jack Wilson, the former Pirate.
Jack was supposed to initially come to St. Louis and get out the DL in this series, but now they've decided they'll wait till Friday when the team goes back to Seattle.
They're visiting with Jack Wilson, and he was in the Cardinals farm system. They spoke so highly of George Kissel and the right way to play the game. Said George Kissel was one of his biggest influences in baseball. 3-2, lifted out to left center. Matt Holliday back and makes the catch. But it is amazing his footprint on the game, Al, and all these different players that he helped. And of course, a number of those players don't stay with the Cardinals and they advance in different organizations, but yet they always have spoken so highly of the great George Kissel.
I still remember talking with a Hall of Famer, and then he saw George Kissel pop out of the dugout. He said, excused himself politely and went over and said, I want to talk to George. And he wanted to learn some more baseball.
Popped up, right side. Pujols will give chase and runs out of room. Good effort from the trio out there of Pujols and Schumacher along with Ludwig. Tony had him for a while where he was traveling with us on the road. I think Tony just took an empty bottle out of Carpenter's hand.
He doesn't look happy either, does he? That cracked a little smile.
This is lifted into left center. That's trouble.
There's a bottle of water, too.
And that'll be a one-out double for Rob Johnson.
Well, here's what you're talking about, Dan. See if Roland Smith can't help himself. As we look at the pitch and misses location, supposed to be away, down and away, and leaves it right in the middle of the plate down. And Rob Johnson picks up a double.
Stabbed at it, and that's strike one.
Sometimes these American League clubs, maybe 2 or 3 weeks out, all of a sudden their pitchers start taking a little batting practice, but for the most part, they aren't quite sure what it's all about.
No balls and 2 strikes. You could also look at it the other way. Is why are you bunting in this spot? Or the pitcher up, and this would make it then 2 outs. Runner at third. You've got Ichiro on deck.
Well, he's a hitting machine, and one thing that Ichiro does is he's always right there with the infield hits too.
And Roland Smith can't help himself. That's the first strikeout for Suppan.
You might take it another way and say some of these American League managers really don't want their pitchers swinging the bat and hurting themselves, whether it's pulling a muscle swinging or running the bases and hurting themselves.
So here's Ichiro. Grounded out to first.
I am one that gives hitters or gives pitchers a little more credit than that they're better athletes and they're not going to hurt themselves, but it has happened.
Runner at second. There is no score. We're in the top of the second. First pitch to Ichiro is in the dirt. Hit the ball hard first time up, but right at Pujols. Well, you can defend him by playing straight away, I guess.
Yeah, you wouldn't recommend bunching the outfielders because he sprays the balls any place in there, particularly in the corners. So you wouldn't want, you just play him straight away.
Here's a 1-0. Saw him homer to right last night, and then he made an adjustment on a pitch that he lined down the left field line for a double. He's got tremendous speed.
Notice yesterday the Seattle Mariners did not take batting practice, and yet he was out at the very beginning of the Cardinals, even before the Cardinals started their batting practice, when they were doing their fielding drills. He was out on the field stretching,
trying to slap it the other way. That's strike one, 2-1. Two outs, runners in scoring position. Good numbers for Ichiro. Now, is this the kind of guy who, if you fall behind, even though it's early, 2-1 on the count, 3-1 possibly, that you just say, all right, let's pitch around him and deal with Figgins? I mean, he's arguably the most dangerous guy in this lineup.
Probably it doesn't matter what the count is. You know, that he's never going to concede anything. And I'm talking about with Albert, never afraid to have two strikes. That'd be the same with Ichiro.
Might want to take your chances with somebody else.
Yep, and your point is well taken.
A 3-1 and a strike, 3-2.
79 miles an hour, so he was looking for something a little harder. See how he turns that front toe in, pitching toe, and yet when he starts that swing, he's running out of the box. He lifts that leg up, and then the foot starts turning to get into a running, sprinting position.
We see it from the Japanese players. We don't see it from the American-born players, do we? That stance and then running out of the box. You don't see it very often, at least.
Almost just hoping they get an inside pitch so they can just take off and just pull the ball.
Ichiro is swinging a miss. Suppan comes back to get him. Strikes him out. 2 in the inning. Freeze, Rasmus, Molina coming up, and there's no score. score between the Mariners and the Cardinals, and Suppan comes back, Al, to get Ichiro.
You see, Molina wants it up. And that's that pitch we talk about, up out of the strike zone is the pitcher's pitch. It's eye level, hitters see it, and here an 86-mile-an-hour fastball, he throws right by Ichiro, one of the best all-time hitters.
And that's a strike on the corner to David Freese. No score underway here in the bottom of the second. And Freese pulls it foul. Fortunately, he picked up the ankle injury a weekend ago or so and had to miss some time. And there's no doubt when you miss a few games, your timing is affected. And he was hot right around that time.
A year ago, it was the left ankle that he had surgically repaired after the automobile accident, and this most recent time was a right ankle.
Freeze into center. Gutierrez makes the catch. One away. Get St. Louis's two favorite destinations for one great price with the Cardinals Six Flags double play combo. For just $50, you'll get a ticket to a 2010 Cardinals game and a one-day pass to Six Flags St. Louis. You can get your double play combo right now at Cardinals.com. So Freeze lines out. Here's Colby. Homered last night. What have you seen different with Rasmus here, Al? He's really been able to drive the ball.
Well, the one thing I want to say is, you know, that it seemed this corresponded to when we made the visit to the eye doctor. Changed his lenses a little bit.
High strike and a late call. 423 in his last 8 games for Colby Rasmus. No balls and 2 strikes.
Got into a rut where he was striking out a little more often, and his father took notice of that and kind of questioned was something wrong with your eyes. Had it checked out, and he changed lenses, and he's making much better contact.
Also had some private sessions with his dad and working on his swing. And Colby will tell you nobody knows him better than his dad, who coached him all the way through Little League and high school.
No doubt about it, but you know, those calls to his father for help have been a lot less frequent this season than Mark McGwire.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Dan, there was a young player that I played with, and his father was his hitting coach. And Cardinal coaches didn't take kindly to it.
Colby pulls it off the glove of Kochman and into right for a base hit.
This player's father came in the locker room one day and said, you know, you guys been dealing with him for a couple months. I saw him one day. I changed his batting stroke again and gets 3 hits. What the heck are you doing? Cardinal coaches didn't take lightly to that. Having somebody's father come in and tell them all about how much he knew their son's swing.
Well, as Tony even said the other day,
you know who that player was? Keith Hernandez.
Oh, is that right? Tony was saying the other day, hey, if this is what he needs, if he needs a little help or his dad is picking up something that maybe we're not seeing, hey, we're all for it.
And his dad is doing it in a much more professional way. But Kobe's dad was his high school coach, but all through youth baseball, you know, he's been the only guy that's been consistent there for him. And his dad did have was signed and played a little minor league baseball also.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Molina. Always worried about the double play when you talk about Yadier Molina. And Molina this year has grounded into 8 double plays. Team leader is Pujols at 9.
Now Kochman is first baseman up in front of the bag.
On deck it is Suppan, so the pitcher batting 8th. And Jeff is no stranger to seeing the pitcher bat 8th. It happened when he was in Milwaukee, but when he was in St. Louis, Tony had not used that lineup when he was here the first go around.
Remember, he had a much more consistent offense when Soup was here the first time around. Tony only does that when he thinks his team is a little offensively challenged.
Ned Yost was doing that with Milwaukee. Ken Maka was doing it as well. 2-2 the count. Runner goes, and Yachty drives it into deep right. Ichiro is back. He's near the wall and makes the catch. Not an easy play when you're only coming through here every 4 or 5 years and trying to get the dimensions of this ballpark.
Well, when you've had 9 consecutive gold gloves, I think any playing surface isn't that difficult for you. And I'm sure Ichiro comes out, checks that right field out, looks for peculiarities, areas where they might get an odd carom or something be a little bit different, and a nice hand for Suppan.
Dave McKay runs the outfielders for the Cardinals, and he will do that. We head on the road and going to those visiting cities. He's hitting fungos to the outfielders and trying to get a sense of some of the nooks and crannies of the ballpark. Suppan, a high fly ball to Milton Bradley, and this should do it. We'll visit with Jim Hayes. He has a nice story about Chris Carpenter when we come back. Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Jack in the Box. Hey, fans, go to Jack in the Box to get a soccer, jack, and tennis ball for only $1 plus tax. That is Rip Rowan. And that was before our first pitch tonight. Neat to see the players out there and staff. Rip is the 2009 Clubhouse Man of the Year. Al, I know you know that essentially he has grown up here at the ballpark behind the scenes, and we can't thank him enough for what he does for us. I know that's a great respect that he has for the players, vice versa. And it's guys like that that make Cardinal baseball what it is.
Oh, they're just a big part of the first class, what this organization is all about. And so congratulations to Rip, and reflection of what he learned from Butch Ackerman, Buddy Bates, right on through, and then, like you say, all the assistants that help out. I was saddened today when I got to the ballpark and I learned of the death of Jerry Lovelace. Jerry Lovelace was a longtime PR man for the Cardinals, and he's the first one to coin the Mad Hungarian. A lot of people have taken credit for that, but it was Jerry's idea. And I Love Robotsky Havana Day and several things of that nature. And I'm sure he was very much involved in the birth of Fred Bird along with Marty Hendon, but you know, way too young for Jerry to leave us, and our condolences to his family.
1 ball and 2 strikes for Figgins in the dirt. Jim Hayes has joined us once again. Congratulations to Rip Rowan and Jim. Chris Carpenter you promoted it. Nice story about him and his son Sam.
Yeah, his son Sam was in the parade of Little Leaguers around the field at the start of the game or just before the game. And there's Chris Carpenter, Cy Young Award winner, professional athlete, suddenly just a father looking for his kid on the field. There were so many kids and so many people on the field that there was no special treatment. Chris Carpenter was just another guy, waited out there about 25 minutes just to see his kid make the loop around. Finally, Sam and Chris were united.
And we saw him signing a number of autographs too, so extra special for some of those kids down there on the parade.
Well, that was an added bonus for the youngsters walking by. Hey, there's Chris Carpenter. He was signing autograph after autograph. Meantime, just trying to keep an eye out to see where his kid was.
Yeah, and then they pulled the entire team out of the line and took photographs with Chris. Sam's the little one right in the middle. Just walked away. Number 13 is Sam.
7-year-old.
A big kid, isn't he?
Yep. That's great.
3-2 pitch. Figgins pops it up. And that'll find the seats out of play.
It's always fun when they have the father and kids game. Usually one of the worst played game by the dads, but times we forget these guys have families. They're away from them for so much, and a lot of times it's the moms that teach all the ball playing.
Another 3-2 pitch here to Figgins. On the outside corner. Strikeout number 3 for Jeff Suppan, and that's 3 in a row. We mentioned earlier, Tony La Russa is certainly hoping that his pitching staff will get a little bit healthier. Penny, as Al told you, All-Star break maybe. He could be out until then. But BJ Rains on FoxSportsMidwest.com reporting that Kyle Loesch will throw very soon. And Jim, you have more on that story.
Yeah, for a guy who has this horrendously large scar on his right forearm, he's real upbeat because he's able to do a lot of things with that right arm. And he said, actually, on Saturday, they're going to let him throw against this little trampoline that they have. And then Monday, they'll upgrade him and let him start playing catch a little bit. But he says when he's due to come off the DL in July, he has every expectation that he'll be ready to go.
Now, that's the big point of the story is that, when you have surgery like that, arm surgery, you're thinking that maybe, you could be out for the entire year. And in this case, the Cardinals are hoping maybe to get a couple of months out of Kyle Loesch.
Let me tell you, the psychology of an athlete is if you got something wrong and you go to an expert, he fixes it, and then mentally they start preparing to come back. They just say, don't stop dwelling on it and saying, okay, it's done. An expert saw it, it's corrected, and now I'll just go through with my therapy and be ready to come back. So it's in many cases they have the right psychology to come back quickly.
How about Jeff Suppan? That's now 4 strikeouts in a row.
He's getting better, and he's executing much better pitches, getting down and hitting his spots. Put that uniform on, everything bounces back.
Isn't there a lot to that, Al, the comfort level that he probably has wearing that uniform and being back with the Cardinals?
Yeah, it's wearing that birds and bat, but being back in this environment where you had success, being with Dave Duncan, who you believe in, and he believes in you, it says an awful lot.
I asked Tony La Russa that very thing before the game about the comfort level and going back to a place where you had success, and he said that can help. But the main thing is you have to be able to pitch the way you did where you had success. And Dave Duncan, Marty Mason were able to identify something in his motion that they feel they can correct, something correctable.
0-1 pitch. On the ground is short. Brendan Ryan up with it. Flips it over to first. Chris Carpenter having some fun with Sam and the rest of his buddies. No score here at Busch Stadium. Chicks, extended this week only. You get 50% off all remaining Eagles concert tickets. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/Eagles. Enter the coupon code EAGLES to receive 50% off all remaining tickets. And it's Busch Stadium, June 24th. Special guests, the Dixie Chicks. Los Angeles in a rain delay with Cincinnati. They lead the Reds 3-0. Cardinals start tonight 1 game out. Top of the lineup, Schumacher, Holiday, and Pujols. Saw Colby Rasmus on a 1-2 pitch earlier. Pick up a base hit back in the second as Brendan Ryan will lead it off. And you have some news on Colby.
Well, I just talked to him about what's going well for him when he's going right and how he prepares. I said, do you watch a lot of tape? And he said, if I've faced the guy before, I want to look at my at-bats against the guy. If I haven't seen the guy and there's not a lot of tape, he said, he's going to approach me differently than the guys I'm going to look at on tape. So he feels that that can also give him some wrong ideas at the plate. What he tries to do, look at a little tape of a guy he hasn't seen just so he can familiarize himself with what the guy has and basically react.
It's a foul ball, and first plate appearance of the night for Brendan. The Cardinals with video, and we've talked an awful lot about it, they will have those type of at-bats ready for the players to look at. They also have the most recent starts of the pitcher. So it leads into what you're talking about a little bit, where you may see, something from a couple of months ago, especially with teams in your division, but then they'll have the most recent starts of that particular pitcher.
But that's also what Mark McGwire wants guys to do, is to be able to react to what it looks like standing in the batter's box. The tape is helpful.
Liner into center, base hit.
Couple hits last night for Brendan, and now another one here tonight. But, see what a guy looks like a little bit on tape, but, really concentrate on the release point, get a feel for what it looks like. Mark will kind of tell, you see what he looks like, but then he'll tell him the tendency is a lot of pitches out over the plate. So try and take the ball up the middle. He throws it inside, that's the one you can turn on. But by taking that approach up the middle, you'll stay on pitches a lot longer, and you'll hit it to have a better chance to use more of the field.
Schumacher singled first time up to left center. 1 for 1. And tonight it's Schumacher at second base, Ryan at short, and Felipe Lopez the odd man out. And Lopez has seen his fair share of at-bats. He's getting a lot of playing time. Here's a look at Felipe. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Runner goes. Good jump by Brendan Ryan, and stolen base.
Stole that one off the pitcher. Surprised the throw was even that close, as he started running to second as the pitcher's still holding the ball. So a perfect jump and an easy stolen base, number 4.
When the Cardinals were struggling, Al, and we talked about it, that's something that you maybe would like to see a little bit more of. Starting runners, hit and run. They produced last night.
Yeah, personally, I'd like to see it.
Here we go.
How about this?
Schumacher gets the bunt down.
Saw in last night's ball game how Figgins manufactured a run. Ichiro home run, and then Figgins went from, walked, went to first to third. Infield hit.
Sacrifice 3 unassisted. Baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head. It's one spectacular night in summer's biggest event. Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim. It's at 7, and it's only on Fox. So a chance now for Holiday. And he pops it up. His struggles continue with runners in scoring position.
Even yesterday, had a couple early hits in the game, but then when he came up with a run in scoring position, he made it out. Just for whatever reason, he's been a good RBI man throughout his career.
Do you think that people make too much of where players hit in the batting order? Is too much made of that?
I personally think so.
Once the lineup turns over, a lot of the dynamics change.
Exactly. It's only really applies to the first time through the order, whether you're a leadoff hitter or a cleanup hitter. But my philosophy is if you can hit, you can hit in any spot in the order. Sure, there's changes in responsibility, but you should be comfortable if you think Albert could only hit in the third spot.
I've talked to Holiday before, and he said it doesn't matter where he hits, he just wants to get the job done. So I assume you see different pitches when you're hitting different spots, better ones in front of Albert.
Here's a 1-1. Out in front, 1-2. 82 miles an hour on the changeup.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, Jim, because these pitchers today go pitch for pitch, and they're trying to retire every hitter. Now, you don't think they're saving only their best for the hitter in front of Albert?
Jim?
I think I could be wrong, but I think they'd be awful careful with that guy up there right now.
Well, true. But, you really got to be careful with everybody. But how many times we've seen, we say the obvious thing is don't walk somebody in front of Albert, and they end up walking them.
Ball hopped is short. Good play. Pujols retired, and he is 0 for 2. 3 innings in the books, and there's no score. Milton Bradley, the switch hitter, leads it off for the Mariners against the Cardinals. Jeff Suppan, and there's no score. 4th inning rolls in. Bradley, Wilson, and Kochman. Southwest Airlines has nonstops to Seattle, and your bags fly free. Book now at southwest.com. Weight and size limits apply. Our interleague fact: Ichiro Suzuki leads the stolen base department all time. Bobby Abreu, Carl Crawford, and then former Cardinal Edgar Renteria. Bradley drives it out to deep left center field. And that ball is gone. Home run for Milton Bradley. Bradley, his 6th of the year. And now with 25 driven in.
5 of the 6 have come batting left-handed. It's the 5th home run that's been allowed by Suppan here, and we'll kind of have to wait and see. You know, he thinks he can get through 5 innings. Was this just a bad pitch? An off-speed pitch. It's away from him. Good piece of hitting. Maybe a little bit up in the zone a little bit, made it more hittable.
Here's Wilson, who grounded into a fielder's choice. It's 1-0 Seattle. They had a lead last night, and the Cardinals came right back.
Breaking ball down the way, and Bradley hits it well, and then he sees it goes out.
Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Off the end of the bat, that'll stay fair. Pujols underhands to Suppan for the out. Join us for the second of 5 Ice Mountain Autograph Nights. That'll be tomorrow night. You can meet some of your favorite Cardinals players and alumni. They'll be here as well. For details, visit cardinals.com/promotions. It's an autograph night presented by Ice Mountain. The current players sign early, and then the alumni will come in and they'll sign as well up to our first pitch.
And before, around the cage, some players talking about the pitching matchup. Yankees against Phillies. CC Sabathia against Holiday. And it's in the 7th inning. The Yankees have scored 6 off of the big right-hander, and Phillies got only 3 against CC.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Hit out of play and foul. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out and nobody on. Home run by Bradley, the difference so far.
We haven't seen Suppan throw anything much more than 88, have we?
No.
89. But it's not so much the velocity, it's where you throw the ball. Got him off balance out in front.
Ludwig over near the line, and that will be a foul ball.
Don't get hurt. But boy, look how low that wall is right there. You really only have half a step as he's running full speed. He knows it's approaching the wall, so he tries to backhand it. And boy, he didn't shy up much at all, though, did he?
No.
You've got to know that that wall's coming, and it's so low that if you keep on running, you go flying right into the stands.
Yeah, we've seen some guys, the way that they approach that, and I've talked to Ludwig about it, they'll slide into that side wall. So the high is 89 for Suppan, the low of 68. 1-2 pitch. Last night we saw another dominating performance by Adam Wainwright. Marked an even 100 major league starts for Adam since he became a member of the rotation, which was in 07. He's now 53-27 in those 100 starts. And the amazing thing, he's pitched 6 innings or more in 45 of his last 46. Gobbled up there by Schumacher. 2 outs.
Dan, and thanks to Ludwig's strong throw, he kept his 21 quality starts at home intact.
Major league record. This date in history, 1964, the Cardinals trade Ernie Broglio to the Cubs for outfielder Lou Brock. One of the great trades ever in Cardinals history.
And that used to be the June 15th was the most important date of the year for baseball players. It was the trade deadline, but it also signified if you made it to June 15th, you got paid for the full year.
Right.
Now through the collective bargaining, if you make it through late spring training, you get paid for the rest of the year.
1-0 pitch. Remember, Ernie Broglio was in town last year for Lou Brock's golf tournament. Those two have become pretty good friends.
Yeah. Last I heard, he was a liquor salesman in San Francisco.
Correct. 1-1 pitch. He brought his son with him from California, and they both came away just amazed at the standing ovation that he got not just for the trade, obviously, but for what he did. I mean, he was a very good pitcher.
Well, he's a very good pitcher here with St. Louis, and really didn't have much success in Chicago. And by the way, when that trade was announced, the phone lines of KMOX Radio lit up in protest. A Lou who? Well, the fans of St. Louis found out who Lou was, and we're all grateful for it.
Hall of Fame now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. 1-0 Seattle. With the Cardinals in 04, 05, and 06, Suppan went 16-9, 16-10, and then 12-7. But boy, did he save his best work for postseason play. Big matchup in 04 that he won, 06, the NLCS MVP. And before he got to St. Louis, one of the reasons that Walt Jocketty signed him to that 3-year deal at the time, the Cardinals were looking for an innings eater. And in Kansas City, he had 4 straight seasons of 200 or more innings. He did that once with Milwaukee at 206 2/3 his first year, and it dipped down to 161 a year ago. 3-2 pitch. Just missed on the outside corner. Not the worst thing with the pitcher coming up. Second walk issued by Suppan. He's also struck out 4 tonight. He's allowed 4 base hits. Roland Smith, the pitcher, tried to bunt and sacrifice first time up, and he was down on strikes. This will be pitch number 70 upcoming for Sup. First inning, he pitched out of a bases loaded jam. At one point, he struck out 4 in a row. One ball, 1 strike. All began in the major leagues for Jeff Suppan in 1995. He was with the Boston Red Sox. Was up and down with Boston in 95, 96, and in 97, 98 expansion hit. He was with Arizona. Off to Kansas City, brief time with Pittsburgh, Boston again for the stretch run of 2003. Cardinals signed him. He parlayed that into a big deal with Milwaukee, and now he's back with the Redbirds.
Very good wearing the Cardinal uniform, and won 16 games, 2 consecutive seasons, 12 the 3rd year.
Ground ball to second. Schumacher has it. And Seattle strands their 5th runner of the night. 1-0 after the homer by Bradley. brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the first inning. Let's check out the crowd through the first inning fan cam and see who's enjoying the game. Budweiser, it's what we do. Milton Bradley has been on base twice tonight with a walk and his solo home run. That's the difference as we move to the bottom of the fourth. The Cardinals will have 4, 5, and 6, and that means Ludwig, David Freese, and Colby Rasmus. Ludwig tonight with a fly out to left field. It's a deep fly to the track in left that was eventually caught. And a fly ball into right this time. Ichiro Suzuki. Boney is now open for the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite Cardinals players to this year's All-Star Game by voting up to 25 times. Vote early, vote often, vote today at Cardinals.com. Looks like Soup's night may be through.
Yeah, I think so, as Trevor Miller is starting to warm up. And Soup thought he could go 5 innings, but I think Dave Duncan was a little more realistic and was hopeful of that. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe get up down to his spot. Maybe go back out there. But
top of the lineup coming up. Maybe he doesn't want to mess with that. Go out on a pretty good note here with just 1 run allowed in 4 innings.
He did a lot better than what I expected. And it's been 7 weeks since he had started a game, about 10 days since he pitched in a game. And really, in many ways, I just thought we'd just throw this start away, good or bad. But now you know he'll be better geared for his next one, and he'll get that, I believe, on Sunday.
One and 2 the count on David Freese. He lined out to center first time up. And he drives it into right center field. Gutierrez on the move. He won't get it. Ground rule double for David Freese as it hops over the wall.
It's been a while since we've seen that. His natural power alley out there in right center.
Exmo Cam presented by Plaza Tire Service.
Bell tie. He's got good power out to right center. One hops the wall. Fastball out away from him, right in the middle of the plate, and did what he should do. A little surprised that the Cardinals have not had more success against this lefty.
Mentioned earlier how the Cardinals came back, and there's a high drive and a deep right. Ichiro is back at the wall. Into the Cardinals bullpen. Colby Rasmus homers again for the second time in this series. His 13th, and it's RBIs 33 and 34 as his average is jumping closer to 300, and that puts the Cardinals on top 2-1. He is swinging a hot bat, folks.
Just under 300, and here he gets a breaking ball, but he leaves it at down and in. Look at that. Look at see where he arches back. He's got the arms extended, and then you pop through.
So just like last night, the Cardinals come back after the Mariners strike first.
Now it looks like Blake Hawksworth.
I don't know about you, but you might think about Suppan going back out there, but I doubt they will do that as they continue to throw.
It looks like Hawksworth is warming up now. Miller was up there. Now he's starting to take a seat on the bench as he scared him into 2 runs.
talk about that leg kick of Colby Rasmus and the base and the power from the legs. This one measured at 384 feet.
See the balance right there, and leaning on that front leg stiff, and kind of the flex in the back, but it was just the perpendicular, and just has the arms extended and used that lower half to pull the trigger and hit the ball. Suppan is going to hit for himself.
It's the first strikeout for this lefty. Molina called out on strikes. He's 0 for 2. Here's Suppan. How about you? It's like he's never left. And watching Sue, this is a typical Jeff Suppan start.
In some ways, maybe a little better, because we're usually, usually penciling 6 innings and giving up 3 runs. But keeps his ball club in the game, and right now he has a 2-1 lead.
And Soup hits it down the left field line. Drops in for a hit. He'll dig for 2. Bradley has to dig it out of the corner. The chance of Soup here at the ballpark.
I'm still not sure he's going back out to pitch. And he just hooks this ball down the corner, puts his head down, and Dave McKay tries to say, come on, go. Bradley had a little trouble picking it up the first time and just guaranteeing, but that had double written all over it. And Hawksworth continues to throw, so it's doubtful or possibly he would be going out until he had at least a base runner removing.
You would have to think that Tony would be tempted now with the lead to send him back out there and try to squeeze one more inning out of Suppan and then maybe have a chance to qualify him for the win.
He has 5 on the bench. Most of the time he has only 4. So it's not like we're playing with a short bench. Rick Adair, the pitching coach, coming out to talk to Roland Smith. His activity in Seattle's bullpen.
Well, throughout our communities, while they have a chance, unique individuals give their time and resources to help others. People Magazine's All-Stars Among Us recognizes 3 finalists for the Cardinals. Through June 20th, you can vote for one of them by going to www.peopleallstars.com. And the winner from the Cardinals will be honored at the All-Star Game in Anaheim on July 13th, and it's seen only on Fox.
Sean Kelly, a right-hander, warming up for Seattle.
Brendan with a base hit his first time up. Here comes a 1-0. Floats in there for a strike, 1-1.
Recently, the bottom portion of the lineup been doing a lot of damage for the Cardinals.
Brendan rips it out to left, base hit. Pops in front of Milton Bradley. Suppan will score. And Ryan winds up at second base. If he fields it cleanly, he's got a shot to get Suppan, and a pretty good one. Instead, couldn't come up with it. It's 3-1 St. Louis.
Jumps on this pitch, carrying out there. Bradley comes to take it off the shoe tops. Kept it in front of him, but he kicked it a little bit. A little slider coming in, and all of a sudden, Jeff coming all the way home. He's going to score. High throw allows Ryan to take off, so single takes second on the throw.
There's a little bouncer to second. Schumacher retired. And the Cardinals strand their 4th runner, but they pick up 3 and they pick up the lead. It's 3-1. Missouri getaway. This is the world-famous Gateway Arch, the tallest national monument in the United States. Stands at 630 feet tall. Gateway Arch commemorates the nation's western expansion. You take a tram ride to the top for a bird's eye view of St. Louis and neighboring Illinois. 4 minutes up, 3 minutes down. And below you'll find the Museum of Westward Expansion. Again, visit mo.com. So that's going to be it for Jeff Suppan as Tony continues to clean up the dugout. Suppan gives the Cardinals 4 innings tonight and allows just 1 run. You'd have to say, Al, that's a successful re-debut in a Cardinal uniform.
No doubt about it. Very, very fine job.
Our Haynes comfort zone moment. Cardinals bullpen has allowed the 3rd least amount of inherited runners to score this season, and Blake Hawksworth takes over here in the 5th for St. Louis. Hawksworth, we've seen him as a starter. Got knocked around in Los Angeles, now in the familiar role of being in relief and out of the Cardinals bullpen. He'll get the top of the lineup. Ichiro Suzuki, Sean Figgins, and then Gutierrez. Suzuki 0 for 2. He's grounded out to first and also struck out as he chased a high pitch. And we'll see if they bring up the eye level on some of these pitches to Ichiro too. That pitch is strike right down the middle at 92.
Talking about a crafty hitter that would set up a pitcher. I would think that would be part of his MO.
0-2 on Ichiro. Cardinals going right at him here tonight in game 2. Redbirds about to hit Seattle 7-4. Cardinals have stranded 4. Seattle has stranded 5. And this is the 21st appearance for Blake Hawksworth. His start in LA did not help the ERA, and opponents are hitting .353 against him. 0-2 pitch to Ichiro. Spoils it and stays alive.
Just a flick of the wrist as that ball was almost in the glove of Molina.
Much bigger crowd tonight here at Busch Stadium for game 2.
Keep this ball down. Struck him out last time with the ball up.
And slapped the other way, foul.
Look at Molina. He's trying to really guide Hawksworth and really enforcing where he liked that pitch. You know, he just fouled it off, but he's trying to offer a little encouragement to his pitcher out there. Down and in. Trying to emphasize, get the ball down. When his ball's down, he has great movement. It looked like he wanted this one up a little bit.
And that's hit the other way. Just foul. See Holiday playing in left field.
When catcher wants you up out of the strike zone. And just get a look at how close this one was. But
so Holiday near the line. Remember, we showed you earlier they played Ichiro straight away.
Now harder thrower. You play him around to hit the left field the opposite way.
They set up inside, and it's 2-2
against the defense. Actually playing to pull on the right side of the infield. Change up. He's got a good one.
2-2. Slowly hit. Tough play here. Ichiro beats it out. Boy, he can fly. I mean, that wasn't even close. So an infield hit for Suzuki. Let's turn to our trivia question presented by AT&T. Who is the all-time hits leader for the Mariners? Ichiro is closing in on this mark. The great designated hitter. Edgar Martinez, 2,247 hits. Ichiro, 2,120.
Ichiro now has 18-game hitting streak in interleague play, the longest active streak. And he and Albert having a laugh over there.
Talking about some talent standing over there at first base. Here's Figgins, who is fly to left and also struck out. And that pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner. Ninth inning. Mets leading Cleveland 7-4. And the White Sox in the seventh are leading Pittsburgh 5-4. It's now 8-3. Yankees leading the Phils. Detroit leads Washington 7-4.
Got some rain to our east and north. As Chicago has rain, Atlanta has rain, Cincinnati.
How about the Phillies and their struggles? They're now 32-29 and 3.5 games out in the East. Each are a little bigger lead this time. This will be a good test for Molina if he wants to run. 0-2.
If Ichiro runs, he's going to steal off the pitcher. Showed where 75%. It's this season has the most steals in interleague play.
Nothing in 2 on Figgins. 1-2. Figgins 0-for-2, and you have Ichiro with just his first base hit tonight. Not much damage throughout this lineup, with the exception of that home run hit by Milton Bradley.
This playing field, all the rain that it's taken, got 1.5 inches on Saturday, another 1.5 inches on Sunday, 1 inch yesterday, another one this afternoon, and it drained so well. Rain came down at better than 1 inch in about 40 minutes.
Thankfully it did. It cooled off the stadium tonight.
Yeah. When most of the players was just absolutely pouring when they got to the ballpark, but they had their normal infield and batting practice.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Roy Halladay gave up 3 home runs in 6 innings against the Yankees tonight.
He's been human this year.
With the exception of his perfect game.
With the exception of his perfect game.
Right. 2-2 pitch. Here he comes. Got him. Strikeout of Figgins. Let's take a look at the pitch location presented by Southwest Airlines.
Get somebody to swing at that pitch. Remember, that's crosses the plate, it's going to be even lower. And the only thing they can do if they hit it and pound it in the dirt.
And for folks who just joined us, Jeff Suppan rejoined the team and made the start. 4 innings. Gave up 4 hits and just 1 run. A solo home run to Milton Bradley. Pitched out of a bases loaded jam in the first. And all the things going on with Suppan, Al, that was huge. Probably the biggest thing that happened to him tonight was to get out of that inning and just get a little positive vibe going.
When things are going bad for you, all you feel is if you have one good outing, then you can build from there. And so to escape that base loaded jam, that was huge.
That's pulled foul. Franklin Gutierrez hitting .277 with 5 homers. He's driven in 28. 1 for 2 on the night. He struck out back in the third and singled in the first. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Great jump by Ichiro, and no chance for Molina. So steal for Ichiro Suzuki. He's in scoring position. Tying one at the plate. This 3-1 ball game.
Like you said, you're going to steal off the pitcher, and very strong throw from Molina. Just a little bit to the first base side, but he really had no chance with the jump that Ichiro got. 19th steal of the year.
His high was his first year in Seattle. Alley had 350 that year and had 56 stolen bases, 242 hits. He's never been under 200 for a year.
No. And he has a record for consecutive 200 hit seasons, and I believe this year, if he gets it, he'll tie Rose for the most ever, 10. Two pretty good rookies of the year back in 2001 here.
The most hits he ever had was 262. He did that in 04 when he hit 372. And that's strike two. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Seattle won 116 games one year and didn't reach the World Series.
Here's a 2-2. Jammed up. Popped up. Schumacher makes the play. Krispy Kreme doesn't deal. If your St. Louis Cardinals get 12 hits today, you're invited to Krispy Kreme tomorrow to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $2.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kremes for this sensational deal.
Chance tonight. They got 7 already through 4 innings. Maybe we can borrow those 5 from Seattle and we'll come up with 12.
And that's taken for a ball upstairs. Jose Lopez. And one of the neat things that happened during the All-Star game last year here in St. Louis involved Ichiro visited the grave of St. Louis Brown star George Sisler. Single season record of 257 hits at that time was broken by Ichiro. He wanted to pay his respects.
It's Kelly.
Ichiro has been to 9 All-Star games. That's hammered but foul.
Ichiro's been 9 years in the league, all 9 games. He and Pujols were both the rookies of the year back in 2001. Albert missed that first one. He's been to 8 consecutive. Ichiro every single year.
There's a broken bat, slowly hit up the middle, diving stop by Schumacher, and that'll save a run.
Ball right to the mound, right over the mound, and Schumacher dives for it. On the outfield grass, but he knocks it down, holds on to it, and that kept Ichiro from scoring. So with 2 outs here, that could be a game saver.
And that's taken just a little bit in by Bradley, who was homered tonight. Back in 2001, Seattle was 116-46. That was the first year that Ichiro was on the scene over here in the States. Been on some good teams, been on some bad teams along the way. So Schumacher makes the play on the backhanded play up the middle. Saves the run, and here's Milton Bradley. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 on and 2 outs. And it's 3-0. And that's ball 4, so the base is loaded. Bradley on base for the 3rd time. Marty Mason gets the call, and that'll get the bullpen stirring again. We've already seen that Trevor Miller's been up once tonight.
You get the left-hand hitter, Casey Kochman, on deck, so that's who Miller is getting up for. Lane Bachman of Festus, Missouri, is celebrating her 90th birthday here at the game tonight.
Bases loaded for Wilson. No balls and 2 strikes. Infield hit by Ichiro. Lopez with single. And then Bradley the walk to load him up. Outfield is straight away, not very deep. In on the hands again.
Shading hit a little bit out into right field, right center. Big gap in left center.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's sharply to short and out at second. They just got Milton Bradley. Big bats coming up. Holiday, Pujols, and Ludwig. First half of the 5th. Close play here at second with the right call. Just by a step. And that ends the threat. Good camera angle there. And our umpire out there at second base, and Hickox. I've talked to some of the umpires, Al, since that blown call with Galarraga in Detroit. Jim Joyce, boy, their heart goes out to him because he's a good guy, and the players, as we talked about last night, like him. But what a nightmare that would be.
Can't change it. And the commissioner has refused to.
You agree with that? Not changing it?
No. I think he should have changed it because it would not have changed the outcome. The only change in difference was a one-hitter versus a perfect game.
Sure.
And
you do open up a can of worms, though, if you do that.
I mean, but, you know, sure you do, but it's history. I mean, that would have been the 21st perfect game in Major League history. The odd thing is it would have been third this season.
Yeah. It's the year of the pitcher, Al.
Yeah. Chevy called to the bullpen is Sean Kelly.
Halladay pops it up. Foul territory, and Figgins makes the catch. The frustrations continue for Matt Halladay. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. Vargas and Garcia tomorrow will come your way at 6:30. We saw Vargas when he was with the Florida Marlins, and Jaime Garcia 6-2 with an ERA that is well below 2. We haven't seen Halladay show his frustrations all that much, but tonight, his previous bat ripped off his batting gloves, and just moments ago you could see him. He wanted to take the bat and smash it down. He didn't, but that's about the most we've seen from him all year long. This is launched. Left center. Home run for Pujols. Number 15.
No doubt about that line drive. Woo. And reach halfway up the stands out in left center. Just a bomb off the bat of Albert. I was just thinking about you talking about Holladay's frustration and saying, well, when you go up there and you see pitches that you think you should be able to drive and you're not doing so, it becomes very frustrating. And right now, Albert just got a pitch he could drive, and he does what he does best. Just a bomb out there off the bat. 15th home run, way up into the bleachers in left center.
Exmo Cam presented by Plaza Tire Service.
Just look how easy he swings, especially on slow motion.
The high finish. Ludwig is flied out twice. He's 0 for 2. 438 feet, the distance of the home run. We've seen that this ballpark plays very fair, and that was a good 10, 15 rows in the seats.
At least.
So the point being, that ball was crushed.
Right. Now you'll see balls hit down the lines, and you see Albert trying to, a little confidence.
That ball was up and hit on a hop to third. 2 outs. You never get sick of seeing the swing and the finish deep into the seats in left center.
Look how quick that ball got out. There's no doubt about it. 15th home run, 49th RBI.
Here's a look at Randy Wynn as well. Jim had a nice interview with him on the pregame show. Former teammates. Steve Nash when those two were out in Santa Clara playing basketball.
And we showed last time Seattle was in town, he was playing in the outfield for the Seattle Mariners.
That was in 2004.
Long time big leaguer. He did a nice job on the road trip.
Sure did, especially in that Dodger series.
Dodger series, he had one time, he had 4 of the 13 hits we had.
Colby was unavailable, out with an injury, and Randy Wynn stepped right in. He talked about the experience of being a switch hitter. And I asked him on that road trip, have you always done that? And he said, no. He said, basically, when I signed to play pro baseball, they said, if you want to extend your career, learn how to switch hit with your speed. And that's what he did.
Usually, you know, if you're a left-handed hitter, there's very little reason to make you a switch hitter. But if you're a right-handed hitter with speed, you know, and you want to pay the price and the hard work, you can be a great asset to make yourself a switch hitter.
Kelly knocks it down, steps and throws, and safe at first is David Freese.
See where that ball got the pitcher. He's upset with himself. He's trying to say he's fine, but his manager and trainer will come out, make him throw a pitch or two. Follow through, and he's on one leg. This looks like he kind of missed it. I don't think it hit him. And Freese running hard, jumps for the bag, ahead of the throw. Says he's okay. And
so Freese's second base hit. Doubled and scored back in the 4th. Here's Colby Rasmus, who got things going for the Cardinals in the 4th inning and drove in David Freese with a home run. His 13th of the year. Colby right now, Al, is just locked in. You're starting to see more production from up and down this lineup.
We're starting to see a few pitches that are left on the inner part of the plate, and he knows what to do with it.
Take a look at Colby month by month. 6 home runs in April, just 1 in May, and 6 here in June, and we've got a ways to go in this month.
Look at the difference in the batting averages. May almost 100 points lower than April, and a great start to June.
Throw down to first and safe. Very close. I'll have to ask Colby about this tomorrow. Do you think he looks a little bit more open as he starts? Get a look at his stance here. Maybe a little bit more open.
Bends over, but
then he'll lean in with that front leg, pick it up, and drive it. Ichiro makes the catch in right field. We play 5 here at Busch Stadium. Redbirds lead it 4-1. is brought to you by Lumiere Casino. Your next home could be on the house. River City Casino and Lumiere Place Casino and Hotels is giving away a $250,000 home plus 18-room makeovers now through July 2nd. Visit rivercity.com for details. And by AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Busch Stadium in St. Louis, the scene, the Cards and Seattle Mariners in interleague play, Game 2. And the Redbirds on top 4-1. A couple of home runs tonight, one by Albert Pujols and the other by Colby Rasmus. Jeff Suppan made the start for the Redbirds. He gave them 4 innings. Gave up 4 base hits. And for people that are just joining us, they may be wondering why only 4 innings for Suppan. Well, had been used recently by Milwaukee.
Last time he pitched was about 10 days ago, and the last time he started a game was 7 weeks ago. So I'm sure Tony liked to go a little bit more, but kept it a real positive outing. Jeff actually hit for himself and hit a double and came around and scored, and then just never went back out to the mound as Hawksworth was warming up that entire time. Tony not wanting to burn a bench player and got rewarded by not doing so.
Got paid off with the double and then came around to score on an RBI by Brendan Ryan. It's a second inning of work now for Hawksworth. 4-1 Cardinals, 2-2 on Kochman, 7, 8, and 9 for the Seattle Mariners. Just got a piece. After the strikeouts by Wainwright last night, he now has 97, which leads the National League. Talking there with Jaime Garcia.
So Jaime talking with Suppan. Now he's talking with Wainwright. We talk about he's being a sponge.
Seems like he's being, at least acting more comfortable around these guys too. Just taking it all in.
Veteran players like when a young player, wants to learn, asks them questions. A lot of guys get to the big leagues and think they know it all. And so when a young man comes up and asks question upon question and he's trying to learn, one, you feel good about it being a veteran because you feel like he's asking for help. And 2, he just wants to get better. And that's the case with Jaime.
Freese backs up. Makes the play. One of those bouncers there. Freese wasn't sure whether to come in. And ultimately backed up to make the play.
Most people will tell you if you have a choice, you want to come in on the ball. And you have a little better idea what kind of hop. When you back up, that you're at the mercy of that ball submarining on you.
Here's Rob Johnson. Walked and doubled. And they've got a pinch hitter, looks like, on deck.
Carp. We saw yesterday's game was at first base.
Be nice if the Cardinals could squeeze 3 innings out of Hawksworth here tonight.
Garrett Olson. He's their lone left-hander warming up.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals have Miller up again. Just saw a shot of John Wetland out there, the bullpen coach, the former Yankee for the Seattle Mariners. Finished up with Texas. His final year with New York was in '96 when they won the World Series. Hit 43 saves that year. Only spent 2 years with the Yankees and then gave way to Mariano Rivera. Ludwig over and makes the catch.
Most of his time with Montreal.
He's also with Los Angeles.
Yeah. Dodgers.
Then 4 years with Texas to finish it up. So who is the best leadoff hitter of this group? And most agree with us. Our U.S. Cellular text poll going with Ricky Henderson at 41%. Ricky had that combination of power and speed at the top of the lineup. Those great Oakland A's teams. Here's Mike Karp, the pinch hitter. Where Tony had some great teams and lineups. Seiko, McGuire, Dave Henderson, Carney Lansford, Ricky Henderson.
Pretty good trade that brought Mike Karp to Seattle, along with Franklin Gutierrez and the J.J. Putz deal.
Ricky Henderson, 25 years in the big leagues. Finished up with the Dodgers in 03. He was with so many different teams: Mets, Toronto, San Diego, Boston, Oakland, Yankees. With 2 stints with Oakland, and both were long.
How many hits and runs do we have?
When you look at his hits, over 3,000, 3,055, and he had 2,295 runs scored.
All-time stolen base leader.
And a walk to Karp.
Situation, I would think that you don't want to walk the guy ahead of Ichiro.
No doubt.
And now Miller will probably come in to face the great hitter. So they made the call. Cardinals have a 4-1 lead. There will be a man on, 2 outs, and Ichiro hitting. He inherits his 2 out, 1 runner on. And Ichiro coming up, 23rd game. He lost a game in LA on the most recent road trip. 5 holds, 3.50 ERA. Almost a strikeout per inning. And opponents are batting .208 against him. Very effective last season against left-handers. Also, a great stat for relievers. He's only allowed 2 of the 18 inherited runners to score. That's 7th lowest in the National League. So Ichiro, who got an infield hit his last time up, he's now hit in 18 consecutive interleague games. 333 lifetime average, and this is his 10th season. Over that good sweeping breaking ball. It's ball 1. Always fun to watch this guy play. Got off the game yesterday with a home run, only his 2nd of the season, but He can hit.
You know, we talk about Pujols and 10 years in, and you look at his numbers and you think Hall of Famer. Same with this guy. A few more years, he's in.
When you look at how many hits, most hits, 9 consecutive seasons of 200 hits or more. Probably do that again this year. That would tie Pete Rose for the most all time, and he's doing it in consecutive seasons.
3,000 plus hits. If you look at his totals from Japan, he was a 353 hitter over there. Played in almost 1,000 games, and then came over to Seattle in 2001. One year he almost hit 400. Hit 387 for the Oryx Blue Wave.
There's a slider.
1-2 pitch.
Off the shoe tops.
You watch him hit, you watch Pujols hit. Different guys, open stances, closed stances. There is no right way to hit, but one thing they all do when it's right, they center the baseball. You know, and how the barrel comes through the zone.
Sure. Both of them use more of the plain field. Fastball away.
One and two the count.
Lifts it up and in. Fouls it back.
We mentioned last night, we've talked so much about his hitting. We focused a lot on Ichiro last night and again tonight, but he's a complete player with his speed, his arm, his defense.
I think, 9 Gold Gloves. Fastball away, trying to beat it. Last one went in. There's exactly where they wanted it, but it was a ball. And that just evens the count at 2-2. That's one thing about a guy like this. They have such a good batting eye, they rarely will expand the zone. Go back to the slider.
Reaches for it, and a fly ball to Holiday. Good work by Trevor Miller. Midway through 6. Redbirds lead it 4-1. Play continues tonight. Cardinals trying to hold on here in game 2 and look for a sweep tomorrow night. Off day on Thursday, and then Oakland in town beginning Friday night. 6 a serious number. The Cardinals score 6. You get a 20-ounce coffee, fountain or frozen drink for just a quarter the next day On the Run at Mobile. Win or lose, Cardinals score 6. You score 25-cent drinks at On the Run. And another lefty for Seattle coming into the ball game. Olsen will take over, a record of 0-1, an ERA of 4.76. So the Cardinals will get a starter tomorrow. another lefty, and Garrett Olson appearing in just his 7th game, 5 2/3, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, and opponents hitting just 182 against him.
Just recalled from Tacoma on May 31st. He was 2-5, 3.66 ERA in 12 games, 6 starts, walking 15 while striking out 50.
And the first pitch driven out to right off the bat of Molina and caught by Ichiro. Yadier Molina 0 for 3 tonight. And here's Nick Stavino as your pinch hitter. Pinch hit for Trevor Miller. Miller comes in and relief Foxworth, and he gets Ichiro to fly out to left. Kyle McClellan getting loose for the 7th. Jeff Suppan made the start. 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 4. He threw 73 pitches, and 46 were strikes in his return to the Cardinals.
Be very pleased with what he did.
No doubt. Albert Pujols has hit home run number 15 tonight. Albert with number 15, and Colby Rasmus with his 2nd home run in as many nights. This Pujols' first home run since June 6th. Stretch of 7 games. 1-2 the count on Stavinoa. Estimated at 438 feet for Albert. Stavinoa rips it into left. You gotta like the way he takes a cut.
You really can't get cheated if you're a pinch hitter, and he has a very unorthodox style. As many times it looks like he goes down on his back knee, just comes inches off the ground. He's already hit 2 pinch hit home runs this season during his career. He leads the Cardinals in pinch hits and pinch hit ABs. And his 9th hit and 30 pinch hit at bats. It's good average.
Here's Brendan Ryan with 1 out. Ryan, a fly ball into right. Ichiro will make the play.
First time Brendan was retired tonight.
Stavinoa is back to first.
Felipe Lopez now will hit against this lefty.
Now Pujols with that home run now with 49 RBIs. That ties him with Troy Gloss with the lead in the National League. And the home runs, he's now at 15 with Reynolds of Arizona, Adrian Gonzalez of San Diego, and 2 behind Corey Hart of Milwaukee. So first plate appearance here for Felipe Lopez with 2 outs and a runner at first. Redbirds trying to add on. I like to see those guys that come off the bench, and as you mentioned, they don't get cheated. It's like a softball player. He lets it rip.
The only thing you can, as a pinch hitter, the only time you can be criticized is if you don't swing at pitches. So you just got one of the most difficult jobs in all of baseball. Got to be very aggressive. When you get a pitch in the strike zone, you've got to go to hacking.
And that's a strike at the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike on Felipe Lopez. Time is called as the pitcher will tie his shoes. 2-1 pitch to Felipe with the runner at first. 3-1.
Cardinals have signed 33 of their draft picks from last week.
They even got the shortstop sign that was in the third round, and one of those guys they're going to sign, if they haven't already, is Andy Bennis' son.
They already have signed him. He'll be reporting to Johnson City. Drew.
Three and two. Chevaluno on the right, or rather the left, and John Mozeliak on the right. John Abamandi, assistant GM. 3-2. Hit out of play and foul.
John Mozeliak on Saturday got a rare opportunity with the Cardinals being out in Arizona and the University of Arkansas playing Arizona State. You got a chance to see 3 of the top draft picks by the Cardinals.
3-2 up the middle, base hit. Stavano on his way to third. Battling Felipe Lopez with our pitch by pitch presented by Chevrolet.
Time out, you come out here, you got to swing at strikes. Fastball away, same pitch out away, 2-0. Then he looks there, 3-1. And he fouls the fastball off, fouls another one inside, and then ball down and away, just shoots it right up the middle and on through for a base hit.
Holiday again with a chance to add to this lead with 2 outs. Nearly a pass ball.
Holiday's always been a very, very good RBI man. Whatever reason, he's had trouble this far. You know, he's over 100 RBIs again last year, 109. It'll come.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Matt Holliday. Holliday walked in the first. He came up with a runner at third and only 1 out in the third and could not deliver. Popped out to the second baseman, and he also popped out against Kelly. That was the first man that he saw in the 5th. 2 balls, no strikes. Pujols on deck and a visit.
There, the pitching coach out to talk to his lefty, lone lefty in their bullpen with this series. Seattle making 3 left-handers make the start.
Don Wakamatsu, the manager of the Seattle Mariners.
Wakamatsu, the first Asian-born manager in the big leagues.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Holiday. In the air to right. Suzuki back to make the catch. 6 in the books, and it's 4-1. McClellan into the ball game, his 27th appearance, 2.48 ERA, 29 innings. He has given up 23 hits, 9 runs, 8 of those have been earned, and opponents only hitting .213 against the St. Louis.
He's been victimized by 2 walk-off home runs.
Most recently Sunday in Arizona. So you know he's chomping at the bit to get back out there.
Exactly right.
McClellan, 26 years old. And a ground ball hit to Brendan Ryan. Seems like a long time ago, but it wasn't. Just a few months where McClellan was in the running as the 5th starter for Tony La Russa's club.
Well, he didn't do anything to lose that opportunity, but in spring training, Jaime Garcia not only won that competition for the 5th starter, but he arguably was the best pitcher in spring training. And then in spring training, you know, there was a little influx with the bullpen, particularly from the right side, and so they really felt like they couldn't cover the innings and had to put Kyle back into the bullpen. He's done a very good job for the 3rd year. Breaking ball gets away from him.
1 ball, 1 strike on Franklin Gutierrez. Gutierrez with a single back in the 1st. He is struck out in the 3rd and popped out. This is low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pujols with his 15th home run tonight. Rasmus with number 13. And 4 innings from Jeff Suppan, in which he allowed just a run. That was interesting what you said that Soup was talking about, the newfound respect of guys in the bullpen. As he was in the bullpen for Milwaukee before he was released.
The old send you to the bullpen to straighten you out, which never straightens anybody out, but long-time starter going down there and just found it.
There's a high fly ball out to left. Holiday makes the catch. The season easier than ever. Find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games that you can't make. It's on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals, and you'll find great seats, great service on StubHub all season. So just head to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
You find out in the bullpen, you know, you have to be ready to pitch every day, and yet you're either going to be worn out or you're going to need work. And then you just kind of keep your positive. I'm sure for Soup it was frustrating knowing that a lot of times you're mopping up in a game, or you're not going into games where your club feels like you have a chance to win, and so now he's back where he belongs and where he feels most comfortable. 1, wearing the Cardinal uniform, and 2, being in the rotation.
His next start could be Sunday against the Oakland A's. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Tony told me it would be.
And a ground ball hit to Lopez. Time to stretch here at Busch Stadium. Good work by Kyle McClellan. And it's 4-1 St. Louis. winner, the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run, Wayne Kroom qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Well, the fans here tonight have been treated to a couple of home runs, and one of those off the bat of Pujols, our Hardy's pine cut of the game. He sent this about 10 or 15 rows deep. And sweet swing of Albert Pujols. First pitch to him, taken a little bit high.
It's so graceful and yet so explosive.
The high finish, the same batting stance that he's had basically since day one when he got to the big leagues. 2 balls, no strikes.
Be a fool to change it.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Albert. Ichiro on the left and Pujols on the right. Many believe 2 future Hall of Famers squaring off in this series.
If their careers ended this season, they would be. One thing they're going to do is pad their credentials.
It's a matter now of just staying healthy and putting together an even greater resume.
Have to have 10 years to qualify.
Pujols on base for the second time, and the class of 01, some of their career highlights. Pujols, 3-time MVP. Ichiro, a couple of batting titles. CC Sabathia has won a Cy Young Award. David Eckstein, the MVP of the 06 World Series. Jimmy Rollins, 3 Gold Gloves. He's been an MVP and been a part of a couple of World Series, one of those that they won. Ichiro, the only one on that list that has not played in a World Series. Ludwig, a high towering shot into center. And Pujols will stay put at first.
And there's a few others from that class of 21 that are pretty good. Oswald, Adam Dunn, Alfonso Soriano, Carlos Pena.
All his years in the big leagues. How about Ken Griffey Jr.? No ring. Joins a group of some great players that have never won a World Series championship.
Bernie Banks.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Comes to mind. Of course, Joe Torre never won one as a player. And he's running out of fingers as a manager.
Hit down the right field line and out of play. So far, so good from this bullpen tonight of the Cardinals. Suppan gave the Redbirds 4 innings, allowed the 1 run. That was the home run to Milton Bradley, and since then the bullpen has been outstanding. Hit to the left side, a fair ball, backhanded, and Freeze is out at first. Mark Mulder says he has not touched a baseball since February, and has publicly said finally, he said, I guess I'm retired. He said, I guess this is it. Only 32 years old.
I don't think he was ever right when he came to St. Louis. Could have won 20 that first year. And yet really wasn't the same pitcher that came up with Oakland.
And Mulder and Hudson and Zito, and he's the first of the big 3 to be through. Came over to St. Louis and really, as you mentioned, Al, never was right, dealing with shoulder injuries. Came over in 05 and spent those years fighting his way back from rotator cuff surgery. Pitched in only 23 games over those 3 years. after his 05 season.
Looked like a wild pitch and is now scored that way, allowing Pujols to go to third.
Colby, a big night with his 2-run homer in the 4th. Strike 2, 1-2.
Talking about Colby, who asked him whether he hits a little more open stance. He starts that way maybe a little bit, but then he squares it up as the pitch is being made. Starts open, but that front leg will go towards home plate. Trying to go up the ladder.
2-2.
Just from the catcher standpoint.
Yeah. Showed you the first month and his very good numbers, and then cooled off in May, and now is heated back up here in June. The 2-2. Strikeout of Rasmus. And we played 7 here at Busch Stadium. It's 1. By the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So it's a second inning of work here for Kyle McClellan, and the Redbirds have a 4-1 lead. Leadoff hitter is the switch hitter Milton Bradley, who was homered here tonight. And trying to bunt his way on. McClellan underhands to Pujols, and Bradley is out.
Good hustle by Bradley there, and a nifty little play. McClellan first thought he was going to race to the bag, but then with Albert hustling also, everybody working hard on that one.
40,269 tonight. 40269. Josh Burns, the GM of the Diamondbacks, saying today that more changes are coming to their club. Al, you were there over the weekend, and this afternoon they traded Connor Jackson to Oakland.
Well, there was a lot of speculation that they would fire their manager over the past weekend.
A.J. Hinch.
And of course, some people were wondering if it would be the general manager and manager.
One out and nobody on. A 2-0 pitch and a strike.
That club won 2 out of 3 against us, and when you have a bullpen ERA that's over 7, and your closer, I don't know where his ERA is now after. It was 7.7.
And Heilman now is replaced. Aaron Heilman has replaced Chad Qualls as their closer.
Look and see what Qualls' ERA is in the game.
And he gave up a lead to the Cardinals over the weekend and was off the hook thanks to the home run. Little chopper hit to Brendan Ryan. Settles and throws and makes the play. Now Qualls now has an ERA that's slightly under 9.
And that's your closer. Or was your closer until Monday.
Well, he's 12 of 16 in the save opportunities. He's appeared in 28 games, 22 innings. And Qualls with an ERA that's right about at 9. Jaime going tomorrow. Will the Cardinals be looking at a sweep? Good work by Kyle McClellan. Backhanded by Lopez to first. Nice play. Depot doing more on defense. Felipe Lopez, fine backhanded play, and takes a hit away from Kochman. Made it look a lot easier than it was. Crowd of 40,000 plus here tonight. It's turned out to be a very nice night for baseball here in the Gateway City. And Yadier Molina leads it off for the Redbirds. Molina, then McClellan spot, and Brendan Ryan. Randy Wynn has moved to the on-deck circle. And Ryan Franklin begins to throw in the bullpen. Brandon League is the new pitcher for Seattle.
This is a guy that Mark McGuire really likes his arm. Our arm out of that bullpen. Get it up there, and it's a sinker.
Cardinals were talking about how he can be very tough on right-handers as he slings it up there, and then, as you mentioned, in doing so, he's able to get on top of it enough and sink it. 2-0.
31st appearance, leads their Seattle's bullpen in innings. 97 and ball running.
Now he's pretty free and easy.
Right, and he's had great success at home with an ERA under a half point at Safeco Field.
Three and one.
See, even the catcher kind of jumping at it. It's a little tough to catch. He's 27 years of age. Acquired from Toronto. Brandon Morrow deal.
And that's a strike. And consistently hitting 96, 97. Goodbye, and Molina strikes out. Strikes out for the second time, never even swung the bat. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. The sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By AT Uverse, a better TV experience. Visit att.com for details. And by Bank of America, Cardinals banking only at Bank of America.
Wynn will be pinch hitting for Kyle McClellan, who could be the winner of this ball game with his 2 perfect innings of work.
Wynn hits it to third. They were playing in. And the former Mariner is retired. 2 outs quickly.
Randy Wynn is trying to stop a streak he doesn't like. He's got the longest streak of any active player without reaching the playoffs. Good day for Brendan Ryan. He's 2 for 3. Had a couple hits yesterday. Had average up to 220 now. Down around the knees.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1-1. Brendan with a single in the third, RBI single in the fourth, and is flied out to right. Injury to shortstop Eric Ibar on Monday night, and some of the Angels not happy about a slide. I'm sure you saw it.
I didn't see it, but McGuire and Aldretti were telling me about it, where he was hit by a pitch, Casey McGee, and then on a ground ball, probably to the second base, or first base side, the right side of the infield, the shortstop covering was kind of hung out to dry as he reached up for a high throw, and a roll blocked by McGee took that knee out.
And some Angels felt it was dirty. Others said that he stayed within the path and it was just hard baseball. Torrey Hunter and also Mike Scioscia said it was a clean play.
Well, they're honest men.
Felipe Lopez with 2 outs and a runner at first.
Some of the people interpret it the other way, where they felt like he had no chance to complete the double play and was just kind of hung out to dry. But that's old school baseball. If you're hanging on that bag, you're a free game.
Felipe, a fine play. Came in midway through this game to replace Skip Schumacher. Made a backhanded play and threw out the hitter, which was Casey Kochman. 2 outs, runner at first. Pitch out, they guess right, and they get Brendan Ryan. Sends us to the ninth. 4-1 St. Louis.
As we go to the ninth at Busch Stadium, coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Cardinals Live, Pat Paris and Rick Horton standing by. Rick will break down Jeff Supon's night pitch by pitch. Colby lights up another lefty, and we'll have player reaction straight from the Cardinal clubhouse. It's all coming up after the game. Ryan Franklin on to close it out for the Cards as we go back to the booth and Dan and Al, guys.
Jim, it looks like you've got a bystander down there that's interested in what you're doing.
No, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for the offer. What's your name?
Ryan Franklin takes over. That's live television now. I'm not sure if you saw that gentleman. He was right behind Jim, and I think he wanted to have a conversation with Jim before he told us what's coming up on the postgame show.
He's only human.
So 25th appearance for the Cardinals closer, Ryan Franklin. First pitch is a strike, and of course Franklin is a former Seattle Mariner.
Seattle Mariner back then, a lot of his pitching duties were in the rotation. And we're starting to get into that pattern where the Cardinals stopped that losing streak last night, where not getting enough work for Ryan Franklin. This is a save opportunity. Did pick up a save in Arizona Friday night, his 11th save. Then he missed the entire LA series as the Cardinals were blown out. So he needs not only some work, but here he gets an opportunity to do it with and pick up a save. Uncharacteristic in his last one, he walked 2 men. You know, that's when he's not getting enough work, when he's walking people.
2-1 the count on Rob Johnson. And a fly ball into center. Colby under it. Makes the catch. Take a look at our Fox tracks presented by the Casino Queen. A pitch that's up. Johnson chased it and flies out.
Up there, it's hard to get on top of it. And you produce a lot of pop-ups, swing and misses.
Ryan Langerhans will be the hitter. So the bullpen has been a story tonight here for the Cardinals. After Suppan gave them 4, bullpen is not allowed a run. 4 innings for Jeff. He allowed the home run by Milton Bradley, and that was it.
I've talked disparagingly about the Cardinal rookies, Ottavino, Walters, but just a little different, where the club felt like having a veteran out there, they had a better chance to win. Suppan provided that lift for the ball club. Kept him in the game early, and then he helped get the part of the 3 runs. Didn't qualify for the win, so this win is up to the official score. And I would say with Clellan pitching the 2 perfect innings, he would be the one in line for the victory. And Ryan Franklin can get the save.
2-1 pitch. 2-2. Here's a 2-2. Hammered out to deep right. Ludwig looks up, and that ball is gone. Into the bullpen, and it's 4-2. His second of the year, and it cuts the lead to 4-2.
Break the ball, hung up there a little bit, and he rifled it into the Cardinal bullpen.
And now it's Ichiro.
Ball away to see if he has the control. And it's right over the middle of the plate. What we find when Ryan doesn't get that consistent work is he just doesn't make the same pitches, and he doesn't have the blow away stuff. He's an outstanding ground ball getter. And that ball right there is the bottom throw out. Splitter.
Ichiro with a single back in the 5th. Here's the 0-2. He is doing that constantly, whether he's in the outfield or on deck for the game. You talked about it, but stretching the entire night. Here's a 1-2. Fought off.
Mena wanted that ball up, and
that's where Suppan was able to get his strike out of Ichiro.
I think he'd be such a disciplined hitter that it would be hard to get a fastball by him up in the zone.
Spoiled by Ichiro.
Like this can frustrate you because you can foul off all your good pitches waiting for that mistake. See what they do. Splitter.
And a ground ball hit to short. Ryan quickly to first.
That ball came up on Brennan. And with Ichiro's speed, you still have to get rid of it quickly. Did so in fine fashion.
Let's take a look at our player of the game presented by Budweiser. Colby Rasmus 2 for 4. 2-run homer and a single. Rasmus now with 13 home runs. Fans on their feet. 4-2 Cardinals with 2 outs. Begins their final hope.
A lot of power, so you can play in. You got to guard against a swinging bunt.
Slowly hit. This should do it. Lopez. Pujols. Cardinals will look for a sweep tomorrow night. Albert goes deep. So does Colby. 4-2 the final tonight.